against light, or with his light. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Good. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2024 Retro Charity Event Final Confrontation. I am Mr. Dan Tartaglione, also known as D Tartag1. Joining me today, we have the one and only Garrett Larson. How you doing today, Garrett?
I'm doing good. So, a holiday weekend, so I get up real early to watch some Star Wars. That always seems like a good idea.
I love the dedication. So today, again, this is the 2024 Retro Final Confrontation. We have two really good players playing in it. It's Jonny Chu, two-time world champ, has won like every other major that you could think of, versus Patrick Lima. Patrick is a retro player predominantly. So Jonny is our 3 seed, and Patrick was our 8 seed. Patrick came in, made it through a lot of like good players. Jonny ended up beating Mr. Pastone, and it looks like our players are ready. So let's go ahead and get into the action. Okay.
So they're playing the same decks they've played the last couple events. The way this was done was once you hit top 8, you submitted a deck list. That deck was locked for that list, so that is what you're playing the whole way. So some of this stuff we'll know a little bit more about. Hey, these are the things he's got to watch out for. We've seen Jonny twice track zeros for an insane number of turns just to hit a overload when it was impactful.
Yeah,
that
was crazy.
This is going to be an interesting game because neither of them are going to give up an icon to the other player until they want to. Jonny's deck, I think he's got 1 or 2 Battleground docking bays. He's got the Death Star docking bay, and maybe I think the Spaceport docking bay. And I think that's it for Battlegrounds. And I think Patrick's very similar. I think he might just have the Tatooine docking bay.
I believe that Jonny has the Hoth docking bay as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that Spaceport docking bay, the Spaceport docking bay at this point is just a classic because that's what he drew for his Overload Destiny against Han with Blaster.
Yeah. So Patrick with a nice start though. He's got 2 Twixes.
Yeah, that's a really good start.
In his opening hand. That's a real strong start for him.
I mean, it only bumps him up to it gets even better. But yeah, it only bumps him up to 7. He's got now, and there's an Anger for Your Aggression already.
This is.
I mean, it's a solid start, but I mean,
it's a great start for Patrick. My guess is if you gave him the option and said, "Hey, your opening hand will have 3. It will have 2 Twixes and an Anger for Your Aggression," he would sign that up 100% of the time. Like when you're playing Throne Room, that's the start you want because now he's going to have at least even activation. Like Jonny's going to drop a docking bay here. He doesn't have enough to drop Emperor. He'll probably move Shizor to the Coruscant docking bay, so he'll bump his activation with mobilization points. But they're going to be activating about the same. And Patrick saved a Force.
I don't mind that. You just in case.
Just in case for what though?
I mean, it's going to give him 8 on his next turn. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and that might be what he's planning is he needs to drop, maybe wants to drop 2 people, and Jonny gets security precautions as well.
That's a good
After he pulls 2 docking, where he gets 1 docking bay and he pulls 1. So that's a pretty good start for him as well.
Yeah.
Both players have a solid start.
And there's a Vigo coming down. So honestly, I'm glad to see that both players got a really good start because then we have it's going to be a good game.
Oh, for sure. If Patrick had drawn nothing and was just stalling, that'd be real unfortunate. I want to watch good players do good player things. And these guys are both Both played excellent to get here, both playing excellent, and they got the cards they need to make this a good, fun game, I hope.
Yeah, and that's what I'm rooting for. Is I mean, how can you not root for a good game after what we saw in the semifinals, in the quarterfinals? Like these matches have just been amazing.
Yeah. And that's, you can't not enjoy watching these games.
No.
These have been good players all the way through, making amazing plays and doing interesting things with a meta that's still kind of unsettled. Like, this is still a format that never existed in a tournament format until now.
That's actually a good point. Now you notice like both players are playing combo cards. Those came out in Coruscant. There was the Tatooine expansion came out before Coruscant, but you're not playing any Episode 1 cards, which is I kind of like that they Jared and all the other tournament directors allowed for these combo cards, being that you have the option of playing just the non-combos.
Yeah, I think this was a super well designed format. I'm not positive how well the meta is going to work out, as we see Patrick saves a bunch of force. He is definitely at least trying to bluff that if Jonny moves to a battleground, bad things are going to happen.
Yes, but you notice like right now there isn't a battleground on the table, but like we said, Jonny has the spaceport. He's got at least the Hoth docking bay.
I'm not sure he had. I don't know if he had Hoth. I don't remember ever seeing Hoth. The Death Star docking bay is the one I've seen.
Okay.
Because he uses it to also put all sections on alert.
That's right. I mean, I remember...
And that might be what if he wants to start moving the clock, that's what he's going to do.
And I remember against Mike in the semifinals, he just sat over at Tatooine for most of the game. I mean, but Mike was playing Watch Your Step.
Yep. Against Mike, he didn't put out a Battleground docking bay. I don't think ever. I don't think he ever put out the Death Star docking bay. He might have late, but that was... He basically just said, I'm going to choke Watch Your Step, which is one of the underrated ways to beat Watch Your Step. Watch Your Step needs a certain amount of force just because everything they need is combos. And you need you need 2 or 3 cards at a time to do stuff. So if you're keeping them at, hey, you're only activating 10, and if you want to do anything, it costs you 6 or 7 to deploy it. Now you're not getting any of the other stuff you need. And that can be a very solid thing.
And there's a Rebel barrier from Patrick. I like that play. That's a super solid play because now Jonny can't move he can't docking bay transit the Emperor to the Death Star docking bay.
He wasn't going to.
You don't think?
I don't. No, I don't love that. If he was going to move everyone to the Death Star docking bay, you just deploy the Emperor there. So that barrier, I think he intended the Emperor to stay at Coruscant.
I don't know because the
whole time
do just see him move. He docking bay transits the Shizor and the Vigo.
I think he's got no escape in hand, or he expects to draw into it. And so if Patrick does something, then he can get back Shizor. So he's taking a risk and saying, all right, you need to do something here and make something happen. But no, I think the barrier was a little premature. I don't think Jonny intended to move Palpatine.
That's one of those plays. Like the reason I'm looking at that and I like that is it keeps Jonny from getting that extra protection if he does want to move. But now with the signal being played, okay, so now that's why Patrick saved all that force.
Yep. So, and he may be, well, Caldera doesn't do anything right now. As I say, I could absolutely see like you separate them because you drop Caldera in front of Shizor and the Vigo, but Caldera doesn't stop it. Caldera ring him the Talls that says you have to have less than 8 ability to battle him.
Yep. And I think that's, again, Jonny might just be happy for that because now he can actually do something against Caldera.
Yeah, and I don't think Patrick's not going to do something. Patrick's not going to
No.
make a dumb play. Like Caldera's not coming out, but I do think Jonny was perfectly fine baiting out that barrier, and maybe he did it intentionally to bait out the barrier so he could play through it next,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe he intended to move Palpatine, but I just don't. I don't see Jonny saying, "Hey, I'm going to end up wanting the whole squad at the Death Star docking bay.
Yeah.
Why don't
That's
I
fair.
deploy Palpatine somewhere else to move him?" Like that just isn't. It's not an impact. It's not a great strategic play,
Yep.
unless it's I'm going to bait out the barrier
Okay.
because this is what he wanted anyways, which was extra activation.
And we do see the order to engage going on to Johnny's side of the table. There's the Tatooine Docking Bay 94 going down as well for Patrick.
And
So both
and that
players
means we're going to see Beggar at some point.
now both players are sitting at double two-digit activation, and then Patrick's just going to draw up.
My guess is Patrick's trying to find a connected squad of guys. Like I know he's running Ben Kenobi, if memory serves, and yeah, I guess so. James points out that the Coruscant docking bay transit is free with an Imperial, or it's one force if not.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was the plan. Was Palpatine was just going to save a force, but I don't know. That feels like it's not a big enough deal to be super worth it.
And there's the anger, fear, aggression already.
So Johnny's going to lose 4 this turn, but he's going to start causing some damage back.
Yes, he's going to be able to drain for 2 here at the Death Star docking bay, as well as get the ping damage from the objective.
And he's now getting to play with his force pile and search
Mm-hmm.
and count and set up his thing. I will say, if Patrick had a way to go after Shizor and the Vigo, he definitely should have done it that turn, because giving Jonny even a turn or two to set up his tracking and know what's where is going to be bad. However, every time Patrick inserts, it destroys Johnny's tracking.
True. That's a good point.
So and Patrick's definitely at this point sitting on another anger, fear, aggression, I'd imagine.
It's possible. I mean, he does have 12 cards in his hand. He did draw up to 12, saving 2 force in his force pile last turn.
Yeah, he's
Johnny's got 16 to work with in his force pile this turn, so you got to think like he's going to have the ability to come down with almost anything he wants.
yeah, but he's still got to do something. And there, Patrick loses the uncontrollable fury that did so much work for him last game
Yeah.
and last round, and he's like, well, this isn't going to help me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good card because you've got to think that most of the dark side players are going to be playing Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith at this point. He is one of the best characters, if not the best character, in this format.
Oh, for sure. And Hunt Down was a super popular deck, and I would reasonably expect lots of people to be playing it.
Hunt down, bring him before me. I mean, we saw what Mike did in the first round with his bring him before me.
Yeah. And Han with gun from hand, and there went an anger, fear, aggression.
That's kind of big.
That one's a little unfortunate. He wants all of those. The Han with gun from hand is a little bit of a surprise. I'm wondering if he had 2 and is in fear of the Monarch.
It's possible.
So Johnny puts down Milwaukee. I'm a little surprised it took him that long, because I think he pulled that with mold points right away.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And it's free activation. It's a non-battleground space. And presence of the Force. Are we going to see Coruscant turned into a battleground?
I think that's a little risky with just the Emperor. I mean, I know that the Emperor has full immunity. He's ability 7, but 4 power, not a lot. I mean,
but Johnny's also sitting on, and he did not deploy the presence, so he's just hanging on to it, getting that 2 out of his deck. Johnny's also sitting on barriers, sitting on Force Lightning, and the potential to fry someone. And Patrick's only going to have 12 force to work with.
And there goes the Twi'lek. There goes a Force Lightning.
So he's probably okay with both. Like, he knew what he was losing there.
Yeah, and that's a good point. There goes another Emperor. And this is a 3. Those are the 3 Force that. And ooh, that's a big one. That can be a big one. Stinger.
I don't think Stinger's going to matter at all here, as we do see the Palpatine move to Tatooine. Johnny's telling Patrick, you're going to have to come after me.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the way you play this.
I mean, Patrick's going to have 12 Force to work with next turn. And this tells me that, one, Jonny has some sort of evasion, whether that is the Imperial Barrier or projective telepathy.
So my concern with moving to Tatooine instead of just dropping presence on Coruscant, Patrick's playing Ben Kenobi, if memory serves. Yeah, Ben Kenobi is a horse to deal with on Tatooine, but he only deploys to Tatooine. He's tough. He's a big guy, and he's hard to deal with.
And there's a tunnel vision. And again, I find it interesting that Patrick is playing tunnel vision over control and tunnel vision. I mean, it is at a...
You're not super concerned about the amount of... You're not super concerned about big drains. You have ways to deal with those. And a 3 is so much better than a 1.
Yeah.
When 99% of the time, what you want to do is deal with you want to pull a card from Force Pile.
Okay, so there he is. There's Luke Skywalker, Rebel Scout, going down to the Death Star docking bay for 7 Force. That will flip Jonny back. We did see that Patrick deployed, launching the assault onto Coruscant. Interesting to see that he goes to... I mean, you have to put on Coruscant. It makes sense. And Yoda's Gimmer Stick. Oh, that's a card.
Dirty. Sure, immune to attrition or presence. No battles may be, or attacks may be initiated unless opponent's character of ability greater than 3 is present. Palpatine's the only guy in the deck that hits that right now, I think. I don't think there's any... Because the Aura Sing's not available.
Card. You can't play Mara Jade.
Yeah, that's
dirty. I love it. And Jonny said in the chat... Oh, okay.
Gimmer Stick should be a weapon.
Maybe Josh Pure?
Josh Pure, yeah, that's...
But Jonny said in the chat, Yoda's Gimmer Stick is going to be a weapon, and with order to engage out, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, and it is... Is it immune to alter? And... It's not immune to alter, and I do think Jonny had a couple sack cards in there, but not a lot, because the prevalence of Watch Your Step said running a lot of Sense Alter is not good. I think that launching the assault from Patrick was mostly just to be able to grab the home 1 and get that 1 out of his deck.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I mean, I don't remember if Patrick was playing any Battleground systems. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure he was, because we did see him just stack the home 1 up.
I think he might have the special edition. He might have Lightside Coruscant.
I think you're right.
I think that's because I think that was what he did. So he's planning for that, in which case losing that Guri is actually big.
Yeah.
Because Guri would have put in work.
Unless, of course, like you said, Jonny, there's an escape from Jonny.
And Jonny is doing the same math we are, which, wait a minute, he had Coruscant. That was bad, and this could be bad. So, but Luke's a problem right now. Like, Luke is a big problem right now with that Gimmer Stick just staring at Shizor in the Vigo. Johnny's going to eat 3 from order to engage. And even if Johnny, I think has to move them probably over to Tatooine to hang out with the Emperor. And just say, fine, I guess I'm not going to be on my flip side. Because there's not a good way to deal with Luke right now.
No, that Gimmer Stick is going to be a pain.
Yeah. It's if Jonny doesn't have an altar or doesn't find the altar, and even if he finds the altar, that's assuming Patrick doesn't have any either. And Patrick might have had a sense or two. I don't remember seeing it, but I know we didn't see all of his deck
Yeah, I agree.
at any point. So throwing in 1 or 2 senses, they can be super impactful.
I mean, he could be even playing
if your opponent doesn't see it coming.
Control, super impactful.
If he's playing control, he'd be playing control combos.
I don't know.
we already talked about that. If you're playing control, you're not playing the Destiny 2 and a Destiny 3 and taking up 2 card slots that,
Yeah, and Johnny's...
Those 60 are too important. Johnny's in the tank.
Deep in the tank at this point.
This is...
And I think he needs to be.
Yeah.
This is not an easy turn for Jonny.
No. I mean, he knows he's going to lose force here. He's got to figure out what does he do to respond to that. And what's his plan for kind of long term. Now, the one thing I will say, if Patrick converts his Coruscant, Jonny drops there for nothing. Because the Coruscant text, Lightside says if you control all Imperial things, deploy +2. The only Imperial in Johnny's deck is on table.
Yeah.
The dark side text for that says everything deploys -2 here. So you start looking at like Stinger costs 0, Guri's free on Stinger, Zuckuss and Misthunter costs 4, Boss costs 6.
Yeah.
And that's here's 3 Battle Destiny, you're limited to 1.
Yep.
Take a beating.
I mean, at the same time, though, it will allow, like, Johnny's, even though he's drawing, like, 3 Destiny and everything, I mean, you got to assume that Patrick's going to have all of the Mon Calamari characters onto the home one. So
for sure. Patrick's not putting it down till he's got here's home one, here's Akbar, here's Hashin, here's Thinespi. And then it's can he last through the 3 Destinies?
Yeah. Like,
it's not a gimme for sure.
Mm-mm.
And actually, Johnny will need a pilot if he gets Thinespi, because Thinespi's got the Zuckuss text.
Yeah.
You have to have greater than 6 ability, and Zuckuss and Bosk is only 6.
Yep.
Because Guri overwrites the Stinger's permanent pilot, so yeah, if he gets Thinespi, Johnny needs a pilot for Zuckuss and Misthunter. And there's not a lot of those in this deck. Like maybe another Vigo.
Yep, and Patrick's
they disabled action timer, which
good play. I mean, I like that's
nice
a good
play.
Yeah, that's a take your time. Let's not let something like the timer cause a loss here.
Yeah, that's showing a lot of respect for his opponent as well.
Yes.
Like Patrick absolutely could have said, "Hey, I'm gonna make Johnny activate it and give Johnny one more thing to think about and one more thing to worry about," and instead Patrick says, "You know what? You're in the tank. Let's make this, no one wants to see a game end on a 5-minute thought."
And you were just talking about this. There's a Zuckuss and Misthunter going down to the Coruscant docking bay, and you got to think that Shizor, or no, just another Vigo. Vigo is a pilot.
For free. It was to get the Vigo down there for free, I think. Well, the Vigo would have deployed in. On Coruscant. Yep. Yeah. So it would not have been free to deploy it at the system. So.
But
that was it. That's Johnny showing a lot. Well, I think Johnny was probably thinking through he had 16 force, but being cognizant of the economy of what he needs and wants to do.
Yeah.
Was really good there.
And
I'm going to need all this force. How do I utilize this so I can keep as many fill up my hand as much as possible after I get all this deployed? So.
And it felt like Johnny came into a little bit of a risk there. Like, if Patrick had another barrier, barriering Zuckuss would have been really bad.
If he has the barrier, I think Johnny ends up dropping the Vigo and Forlom outside and then moving the other Vigo to the docking bay, moving Shizor over with Palpatine, and saying, all right, if you have a spy and a way to come at me, you can make something happen, but I'm drawing 2 Destiny, and I'm going to make this interesting.
Yeah.
So it's possible. And we see Jonny loses Jabba's through with you, a Vigo, and the battle order combo to the order to engage, and he does not. Oh, okay, he's in
his move phase right now.
He moves Zuckuss up, yep, and he transits them both over to Palpatine, because then, if Luke wants to follow and set up order to engage,
it's a little bit more
difficult. He can be battled.
Yeah,
but like moving Luke there, you're only moving Luke there if you put some backup with it.
Yeah, and I don't. And again, like at this point, Patrick might pay 3 to drain for 1 just to get Jonny some force damage.
Maybe I'd be a little surprised.
I mean, yeah, I would be surprised too, but
he's only got 12 force. He's got 9 in hand. There's another tunnel vision.
So yeah, he's going to have 9 in hand.
That feels like not a great play. And Jonny left the Stinger alone up at Coruscant because of what we talked about with the needing 7 ability. That was a calculated play. Oh, he does drain for 1. Why do I even suggest strategic things? Oh, and there goes Guri off the top. Now, that's certainly not his only Guri.
No, probably not.
And there's the anger fear aggression
going back down into the deck. That's going to cause most likely another 4 loss for Jonny.
Yep, unless Patrick decides to move Luke over, and there's the beggar. So, but Johnny's got 3 force right now, which is fine. Patrick's only got 5 left. I don't think Patrick's coming down aggressively this turn.
No, probably not.
Like you'd have put out the beggar to use Johnny's. You'd have spent 3 to use Johnny's 3. Like that would not a. Yeah, Emperor should be able to force lightning the beggar. Like, he does seem like the type who would definitely not give a beggar money when he's walking down the street.
Well, what you seem to think that the Palpatine would walk down the street.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is not going to be in a place where there are beggars.
Yeah.
You probably got that one right, but... So, now we know Johnny's sitting on the presence of the Force.
Yeah. I mean, he could make Coruscant into a docking bay in a battleground.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And there's the anger, fear, aggression right off the bat.
Because of Battle Order, or Battle Plan Draw Their Fire being out, Patrick's end goal is to convert Coruscant. And it might be worth just saying, you know what, I'm going to make it a battleground now so I can start causing damage.
There goes Leia, Rebel Princess, with the top of the deck for Patrick.
And I think he's totally fine with her leaving. I don't think she's going to come into play much at all this game. Well, especially not now, but at any point, I don't think she's particularly coming into play. So Jonny goes for the Force Lightning pull. He already has it in hand. He's just, getting the verify to see what's there. So this is... All these turns are important. Like, it's hard to be like, oh, it's super immune or super, impactful this turn. But like
you said, each of these turns are important. I do feel like this is one of those games where
Jonny coming back
could hurt
direct damage.
That's pretty good for Jonny.
That's really good. I mean, Johnny's got 1, 2, 3. Johnny's got 6 cards with ability on table to Patrick's 1. So he's going to force Patrick to start putting guys out.
Now,
because right now the force is relatively even.
Oh, and the wise play by Jonny.
Yep, that's smart. You don't need the extra. If you're going to get battled in space, you don't need the extra battle. In all likelihood, you don't need the extra battle desk. Like if he comes in space, you drop Bosk, you're still drawing 3. This way, Guri limits, and you don't risk running her, losing her somewhere else.
You keep your ability at 6 units with force or
Yep.
ability. So
No, that was real smart by Johnny.
yeah,
It's
that's.
almost like he's good at this game.
I mean, from what I remember, like Johnny was good at the game. I mean, he's no Benji Chu.
Yeah, I mean his kids. I expect a lot of the time at home. There's a whenever Johnny tries to give them some sort of advice, it's once I was but the learner. Now I am the master. So
And
Patrick with the Grimtosh lost.
There goes.
Gets
He doesn't
nothing,
hit anything.
but Johnny's got tricks.
Oh, Johnny's got hecka tricks.
IG-88 with Riot Gun, the Monarch, Presence of the Force, Force Lightning, a second Zuckuss. Although I don't think the second Zuckuss is big. The control set for stun has potential to be real nasty up at Coruscant.
Lateral damage, Jodocast, hidden weapons. Like,
yep.
Those are a lot of good tricks for Johnny.
Those are all great if you can find a way to battle Luke.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
but that Gimmer stick is gonna, that Gimmer stick's gonna stop all that.
And it'll probably see the Search and Destroy from hand go lost. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that in play with 2 battlegrounds and one of them being held by.
And a 4th Anger, Fear, and Aggression coming down.
I think that's all he has.
Because we did see 3 go into the deck. One of them get lost. So
this is the 3rd one in deck, and then one was lost off the top.
Yeah, and I think if you're Johnny, you're happy to see the 4th one.
Yeah, like Johnny knew he was going to have to eat through these.
Yep, and there's a Luke's lightsaber, so that's going to make that a drain of 2 now.
It is, and I think Johnny says, "Yep." Patrick waited until he knew Johnny didn't have the overload.
Yeah.
And Johnny lost the other 0, so he's not
do you know about it. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, we saw him lose the Spaceport Docking Bay. I don't think Johnny had another.
I don't know. This is Johnny Chu, and there goes Corran Horn. Interesting to see Corran Horn go down there.
Where else are you going to put him?
I mean, you could go to Coruscant with him.
You're paying for drains.
So?
You're only activating 11 a turn.
So?
You're not going to pay for drains, and Corran seems like a potential liability when Jodocast and IG with Riot Gun.
Yeah, that's
like I'm fine with Corran going there. I do think Johnny should probably drop Presence on Coruscant now.
I agree.
Just get that extra ping of damage and stop paying for his drains. Because
Patrick has no force save, but
with no force saved, he's not coming down with home one. He's not coming down with loaded home 1 right now.
Correct.
So
there's the presence.
Yep. Johnny didn't activate. Oh, Johnny says I'm not even going to activate. I'm not doing anything until you force me to do something.
I mean,
I like that play.
He's only giving.
It took me a second to be like, why did he
Patrick
just
one force for the beggar.
Yeah,
but
I like that play a whole lot. Johnny says my hand is really good,
but at the same time,
I don't think you can come after me.
Look at this. Like Johnny is at 16 in life to Patrick's 23.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but Johnny's now going to be draining for 2 for free, and Patrick's draining 2 that he has to pay for. And he's got to pay for ability. He's got to keep deploying guys or he's going to lose ability. And there's Johnny loses the barrier from hand, which makes sense because he's not going to activate. He's not going to give up beggar.
And there's Twi'lek out of the use pile.
Johnny's figured out the math and said, Patrick, with 12 force, there's very little he can do right now.
I mean,
he can continue to drain for 2. And if he stays ahead, this is great. Like if he can continue to just stay ahead and keep deploying guys,
and that's what he needs to do at this point.
Yeah, it's.
And I mean, he's going to be able to start cycling cards with Mirax, which is nice.
That was actually a big one. Finding Mirax, I think, was very good for him.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, I mean, we might just see him. I don't think he's going to be able to get the home 1 out.
Not with the level of stuff he needs to go after in space.
Yeah.
Like, that feels like a lot to...
And he draws up to, he's got 10 cards in his hand. He saves 5.
So he's got 31 force left right now between hand and deck,
Jonny
compared
has,
to Johnny's 23.
But like you said, Johnny is now going to be... So the damage right now is even.
Yep, they're both losing 1, but Johnny's not paying for it now, and Patrick is. And Patrick has to keep drawing and finding cards to get ahead of ability.
Correct.
Like, he's still down. He needs to deploy 4 more guys to shut off ability, which is a lot.
And Johnny didn't activate. All he did that turn was drain. He decided, you know what, I'm not giving Patrick any force.
Well, it's also, he's got the Anger, Fear, Aggression in there. So he can't, until Patrick does something that puts Johnny in a position where he can battle.
Yeah.
There's no reason to risk that AFA.
That's a good point, yeah.
So that being said, Johnny's going to have to start losing from reserve at some point, because he doesn't want to lose all of those cards in hand. Like,
True.
He needs some of them.
Yep. And there goes
Zuckuss is a very good one to lose from hand. He doesn't...
Yeah. He's got
if you lose that Zuckuss, you lose space anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, he's got enough forfeit up there right now.
Yeah.
Now...
And I like the hidden weapons because I don't think Patrick moves them in front of Tatooine.
No.
So you're not going to get Jodocast and hidden weapons off.
I think at this point, Patrick is trying to either decide if he wants to go to Coruscant with a home 1, but like you said, he needs a fully loaded up home 1. And there's Obi-Wan with lightsaber.
Yeah, to take Coruscant, to even have a chance, you need home 1, Akbar, and at least one of the
fish.
The fish, either Thanespi or the other dude. And even then, like, that's not a gimme.
No.
Like, Johnny's drawing 2 Battle Destiny up there.
Yes, he's drawing 2 currently.
And he's limiting you to 1. Like, there's no gimme you're getting that through.
No.
So, and I think we'll see the same thing from Johnny, just
drain
and say go.
Unless of course he can use all the force that he activates this turn. Nope, he does not.
Well, it's more you don't activate into the Anger, Fear, Aggression.
Mm-hmm. And
it's got, there went the Coruscant from hand. So Patrick says, yep, Coruscant's the battleground, but now that it is one, I don't need to monkey.
And there goes another Obi-Wan with lightsaber.
Which, totally fine. You're not getting Obi-Wan out anyways.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's already out.
Yeah, this is really... The math on this comes down to, does Patrick have enough guys to shut off ability, or not? Because the point where he stops being able to deploy a guy a turn, the math turns to Johnny's favor real quick.
I mean, he's got 4 to Johnny's 6 right now.
Yeah, so he needs 3 more, which, again, home 1, Akbar, fish gets him there. And if he's got all of that, I think you see the play. He drains for 2, so he doesn't have the full kit.
Yeah, he doesn't have the full kit just yet.
I don't know if he's got time to get it.
I don't think he does. Johnny's going to lose lateral damage and overload off the top.
So the overload off the top, he's starting to... I don't
feel
actually
the pain.
love losing the lat damage. I think if Patrick gets the home 1, although the 1 fish makes him immune, but Johnny's got the control set for stun that he could use to send back the fish, and there's a Leia Rebel Princess again. Just stay ahead of ability.
Yeah.
There is only the 1 Tatooine site on table, so he can't cancel those drains. And Leia won't, even if he moved Leia to Coruscant, he can't cancel the drain at the system with Leia. So she's just a stay ahead of ability.
Yeah.
You lose 1 card net instead of 2 because you're putting it on table. And yeah, Johnny,
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Like even like Johnny's draining for 2, and with ability, he is essentially doing another point of damage each time Patrick has to deploy something.
Yeah.
And there goes
So
the Hoth War Room from hand and a Bith Shuffle combo.
from reserve, like yeah, Patrick is now, I think, in the point where he can't go to space. He's only got 16 cards down. It's going to cost basically all of his force to deploy
Yeah.
into space, and then he can't battle. And you don't want to put Jonny in the position where Jonny gets to decide to start the battle.
No.
Because then Jonny can activate, can get that Anger Fear Aggression to do nothing, and IG-88 with Riot Gun comes down on Zuckuss to make it 3 Battle Destinies, and this is bad.
Yeah, agreed. There goes the Vader Monarch.
And the Houndstooth from reserve. I don't think that's a bad loss.
No, I don't think. I mean, it gets a 1 out of the deck, and at this point, I don't think. And there it goes. There's the first Officer of the Nesby.
Yep. So
I mean, that's just so now both players have 6 cards with ability on the table.
Yeah.
So now Johnny's going to have to get somebody out if he wants to keep ability on the table.
Jonny might not have anyone else to throw down.
He's got Jetacast.
Yeah, but then he has to activate and eat the Anger Fear Aggression.
Do we know where it is in the deck?
We just know it's in the deck.
Yeah.
You never know where it is until you activate. And
Yep.
that's Jonny did that math and says, okay, I need to do this.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I could definitely see Jonny do is drop Jotocast and move him to like the home 1 docking bay and start adding some damage.
I mean, that's going to add up.
Especially there went Honor from hand, which
Yeah.
would have stopped.
No, it wouldn't.
It would have stopped the home 1 docking bay drain.
Oh.
No escape
yeah.
doesn't protect the.
Yeah.
So.
And there goes a sorry about the mess from hand.
And
as
Patrick's
well.
starting to lose battle cards as well. Like, Patrick's got to figure something out, and I think Jonny has to try something here.
I agree with you.
So, and there's Jodo to Tatooine.
And Johnny realizes that he does have to get out some characters just to keep ability on the table.
Yep, and he goes to battle. So Jonny does not play the. You only have 5 cards in hand. I'm going to take a risk that you can't hurt Jodo.
Mm-hmm. And there
And
goes
just
U3PO, IG-88, Twi'lek, and Projective Telepathy, all from deck.
Yeah. And Johnny's just drawing one. Jonny only has 1 card
Yeah, I'm...
in reserve. Like, if Patrick had home 1, this would be the time to drop it.
Yeah.
But Patrick's only got 15 force. Like,
But no, Patrick has 20 now. He can use the beggar.
oh yeah, good point. This is the time.
With 1 destiny on Johnny's reserve deck.
Yeah. This is the time if he's got it.
Yeah, like losing the force from the use pile there was kind of bad for Johnny.
Yeah, that was tough. Jonny was definitely feeling the pinch. And okay, how do I do this? And that Anger Fear Aggression's brutal. Like,
yeah, it added up really
that's
quick.
been 12 cards. That's a lot of force.
Yep, there's the control set
and
for stun.
there's Jonny having to play the set for stun, which I think he would have liked to try and use another way, but there was no better way to use it.
No, yeah, agreed.
So Patrick, I expect, deploys another guy with ability here and just says go.
I think you're right.
Like, I'm also a little bit surprised Patrick hasn't tried to, at some point, spread to there's Caldera. And Jonny doesn't have... Johnny's got a Force Lightning still.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to use it.
Wait, no, I think he lost it.
Did he lose it?
I'm checking.
I'm not going to try and scroll back through chat. Like, I know he had one. He had the one in hand when he got Grimtashed. I don't think he lost it yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. Yeah, you're right. I think he does. He did not lose it.
So I will say, if he's got it, I think you have to use it on Caldera now.
But the problem is, see, I don't know if he knows what that destiny
Oh,
is.
well, Caldera's only ability 1. Oh, ability 2, excuse me. I would have taken that shot mostly to. I thought Patrick might just drop a second character and be like, all right,
I'm
this
not
is.
sure. Oh, I mean, it blocks a drain of 1, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, it also pings order to engage and would have given
True.
him a second chance at the ability. Because if he'd had another guy to put down there, that would have been enough to cancel ability.
True, and there goes the Force Lightning, frying Caldera.
Which, again, Johnny's only got 1 destiny there.
There's no
I
way he
don't
can fight.
think you can battle.
Mm-mm. No,
Like that.
It's 10-19 in favor of Patrick
Yeah, I think Patrick's going to take this game.
by double digits at least.
Yeah, this is going to be. This is a nasty deck, and he's played it outstanding.
Oh, definitely.
Like, and honestly, Johnny's played super well. I don't think there's anything.
Johnny hasn't made a mistake. It's just 3 anger, fear, and aggressions getting 12 damage in is nuts.
Johnny did not have the answers for the questions Patrick's deck was asking, and I'm not sure he was going to.
I don't think anybody did. Like this, like you said, this deck
was really good.
Yeah.
I think there are decks that could have the answer to it. I think he played a real close game versus one of the Hunt Downs, and he's running Obi with Saber. For some reason, I thought he was running Ben Kenobi, which made Tatooine much more dangerous. So, and Johnny drains. I wouldn't be shocked to see Johnny draw here. Like, you're not going to reduce anything. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's the order to engage, and I think he's just going to. Says I can't create any more damage.
There goes 3,721 from hand, so he's losing from hand, and like if he was going to draw, he would have lost from deck there.
Yeah, but I mean, are you just going to spend 2 to move them away and drain for
1
more time? Like, okay, I guess
Johnny's going to attempt. I think Johnny is going to attempt to do as much damage as he possibly can,
and that's And I guess there's no place he could have moved to. He couldn't have moved to any of his opponent's docking bays from Tatooine. It was too expensive. No. That was why I would have said with Jodo, like, you take the risk and throw Jodo at, like, the Executor docking bay where you can then transit for free.
Patrick only has 3 cards in hand. I mean, yeah, he can Mirax here, possibly get another character. But if Johnny can survive a couple more turns of the Drains of 2...
Well actually, Johnny's got 1 turn left because he's going to get drained for 2, and then
the order to engage.
Everyone's going to move in front of him with order to engage. He might get 1 more set of drains in at best.
But I mean,
although this one now his document transit from there is free, so I could see the next turn. So there's hash in.
Yeah.
Which keeps him even, so he doesn't lose to the ability. So now, if I'm...
This is where you draw up for Johnny, because Johnny's not going to be able to do
because even if
anymore.
He spreads, he can't survive the drain.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, he needed to move to the Death Star 1 turner. Oh! So, Patrick doesn't move.
But, I mean, Johnny's got 1 card in hand. He's trading for 2 here.
Yeah, but here's where, because he didn't move to set up anything, Johnny should move Docking Bay Transit, the Vigo, and Jodo to Patrick's 2 docking bays and create 2 more drains of 1 that he can get out here.
I mean, Johnny could also be thinking about deploying a character just to keep ability going for one more turn.
Jonny doesn't have any unless he drew one.
Yeah.
So landing the stinger, you're not draining there, I don't think.
No.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that was impactful. If anything, you land Zuckuss to jump the guys out. All right, so Jonny does not do the spread, which, I mean, if Patrick, well, Corrin's on table, so Patrick can't come after him with anything. I think that was, I expect we'll see Patrick drain here and then deploy a guy to kill ability.
Yeah.
And call it a day. So he uses all of Jonny's force to get the drain off.
Why not?
Yeah, you're going to lose. Beggar's not in play anymore anyways, so.
Yeah.
Jonny did have a Dengar with Blaster Carbine in hand. He just didn't have enough force to deploy him.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. This is where, again, I would have spread and pinged 2 more damage, because if Patrick's 1 card is a way to go beat your guy up at the docking bay, you were losing the game anyways.
Yeah.
So pinging off 2 more damage would have been nice.
Question is, what is that 1 card in Patrick's hand? And
it is home 1 to kill ability.
And it blocks at 1 drain.
And with Jonny not having lateral damage, he'll make him lose home 1. Like, he'll battle and kill home 1. But maybe. That's it.
Yeah.
No, he will. He's 6 and he's got 2 destiny. So home 1's 9 with 1. Like, I would expect.
Yep.
What we'll see, and they're blocking all the drains, so. Yeah, Jonny loses to Order to Engage this turn no matter what. And he causes no more damage. Which is where, again, he could have at least pinged through 2 more if he does the spread, because Patrick wasn't going to be able to do anything to him. But I think he battles home 1 just for because he can.
Going out when
so terms. Patrick's going to win this game by 14.
14 and 25 to 35. Actually, no, it might be a little bit bigger because
it'll be 25 to 38.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna have to lose those 3 cards.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's how that's going to end, because Order to Engage is going to hit him. Oh, that Gimmer stick was absolutely brutal.
I was going to say Jonny should battle here just to make it the loss, like 1 extra card in Patrick's loss pile.
Yeah. But he activated a second one, so. Because the other downside, well, I guess. Yeah, it didn't matter because Patrick couldn't cause any damage.
He doesn't care. He's going to fight with the stack at the docking bay.
Yeah, but then you're going to lose those 3 force either way.
No, you won't. Well.
Or you're going to lose cards. Like, you're just going to add. You're going to add the cards in your lost pile without putting any in your opponent's. Yeah, that's fine. He battles, and then he's going to peel the 3.
Yeah.
To the resulting battle damage, and that's fine.
You have, like, if any of those characters survive, Jonny can drain for 1 more.
No, because I guess he can move him to Tatooine, and if any of them survive is a big if.
Yeah, I know.
So, Shizor just got hit. I assume we'll also see Palpatine get swung at, just to eliminate the highest forfeit and make it harder for Jonny to have. Okay.
No, go for the guaranteed
Patrick says
hits.
Go for the Vigo.
Yeah. I mean, you're up by 10.
Yeah. All right, and so he did have another spy. He had Lieutenant Blount, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
So I mean, he's gonna either lose. Yeah, he's gonna lose here.
Yeah, he's down 10 plus Destiny, so he's down 11, which is going to be Palpatine and Jodo. Or you just peel the 3 to the battle damage here. Okay, Johnny's not doing that. So Johnny's just adding a few more cards to Lost Pile, and I'm not entirely sure why.
I don't think lost piles are going to matter.
No, and there it is. Johnny just ends it
Yeah.
with so it's actually 40 to 26 in Lost.
Okay, so those look like both players are going to take a 5-minute break.
But which makes sense. This was a real rough game for Johnny. I don't think Johnny expected to lose by double digits with agents, but that Gimmer stick was super nasty. And Patrick played outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Patrick did everything he needed to do and had the answers and just played smart. And, you know, early on, losing a couple force, he said, well, fine, I'm gonna lose and I'm gonna set up so when I need to, I can stop losing. And yeah, that Yoda stick is just brutal. Yeah. Where Johnny's deck has literally one character
that
can impact that.
It's just funny to see how impactful little cards like that. When was the last time you saw a Gimmer stick? When was the last time a Gimmer stick like came across, like you looked at it and was like, that's a good card?
I'm pretty sure that's never something I've said. I'm kind of I'm trying to think. I started playing in tournaments right after Dagobah's release. And
what year was that?
It started with a 19, and I've had fully enough of your attitude, sir.
My attitude.
No, there were times when it would come out because I've seen Bubo eat Yoda, and that was a defense for that when Jedi testing was big. But I've never seen it
Jedi
used.
testing is still big.
Yeah, but I'm talking like the abusive Dagobah Clouds type stuff.
It's still abusive.
This is I've never seen it used that effectively. Like, that was absolutely what do I expect to face? Really, what I want to do is make Patrick's entire deck is built on, and it's interesting if you look in the current era, the like Desert Landing Site, Slip Sliding Away decks that did very well, and Hayes used to win Worlds. One of the things he's talked about with that deck is basically he said every turn his plan was, how can I avoid getting battled? Patrick's entire deck is, I want to avoid getting battled until it is on my terms.
Yeah.
And the anger, fear, aggression popping all the time, where he says, I'm going to cause you damage until you battle on my turns, was just really good. And there's nothing, he built this deck very well. He played it outstanding. And there's nothing I can say beyond that. He did that amazingly. But yeah, the Gimmer stick, that was a outstanding play. Like, I don't know how to say it better than that.
And the thing is, like you said, we did not see a lot of Patrick's deck in the last 2 rounds because it just either won too quick or game 1, like I think he played this a lot in game 2, because I think the light side would most of the players went with light side first, so there wasn't a lot of impact from this deck. But man,
I don't remember seeing it. So Johnny, I'm sure dissected the replays, and he must have drawn it for a Battle Destiny or lost it at some point, and we just didn't notice it and say anything about it.
I think there was a verify, and Johnny saw it in the deck.
Could be,
but yeah, Johnny, and I can see Benji sitting there meticulously going through the replays that we posted on YouTube, and just being like, okay, Dad's got to worry about this. Dad's got to worry about this. Just because Benji wants to do that, just so he can look and get better, but just not seeing all that, not getting all that information, kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But man, and again, like the fact that you saw Order to Engage, Anger for Aggression, two cards that came out in Dagobah, and now either have a shield or are starting effects. Like,
yeah, and they're ready to go for game two.
Let's get back on into
right now. So this is going to be Johnny's Speeders. There is Good and M versus Patrick was on Huntdown, wasn't he?
I honestly do not remember.
I'm like 75% sure. We'll find out real quick.
We'll find out right here. Yeah, Huntdown.
So this is a match I know we talked about that I think Johnny was slightly disadvantaged in.
Yes.
You know, he's going to have to find the answers, and he's got to win by 15. Like,
yeah.
Patrick needs to do exactly what he did last game.
Yep.
Play it slow.
And, to answer the question, so yeah, as how did we get into this mess? Said the Gimmer stick was deployed onto Luke in front of Prince Shizor and Avigo, and because Johnny was only playing the Emperor as a character with ability of greater than 3, that said that Johnny was not able to battle into Luke. Luke was just able to sit there the entire game, kept Johnny flip, draining for almost 2 the entire game. So
yeah,
it was just
steady causing damage.
It was just a well-timed, I'm not going to battle, you're not going to battle until I want you to battle card.
Yep. And between Order to Engage and Anger, Fear, Aggression, Patrick had a battleground site that he couldn't be battled at.
Yeah, and
so
between
you're
the two,
healing
those two
force
cards,
for those things.
Those 2 cards cost 18 in force loss, which is just nuts.
Yeah, that's a third of the deck.
Yeah.
So we see Patrick use Imperial Command to get Thrawn, used mobilization points to get Rendali for the activation.
Yep.
Like, this is all pretty standard as far as Huntdown goes.
And the thing is, like, Johnny is going to be on a clock at this point because of the Visage of the Emperor. Yes, he's going to have Luke on the table. And you would have to think, like, well, actually, no, Luke's probably going to be captured.
Luke's going to get captured fairly quickly. Johnny's going to be on a clock, although I think Johnny has answers for that. I'm sure between Honor and Out of Commissions, like, Johnny's got answers for that, but it's still...
You got to find them.
Winning by 15 is not going to be easy, and it's basically going to require Patrick make a mistake. And Patrick does the pretty standard start, which is I'm going to put an Imperial at the docking bay and force you to do something. He uses Crush and grabs I Have You Now.
I don't think I Have You Now is going to be too impactful. Like, we need to know that Johnny has other... He has
Corrin
Rebels.
and Leia. He's got Corrin and Leia, and that's it.
But
I think it might have been a Count the Vaders
Johnny
type search, although he probably would have done that before deploying Thrawn, so maybe he doesn't need to count the Vaders.
He did lose the I Have You Now, and Johnny lost an Ewok catapult from hand.
And that would have been the other thing is, I know I won't need this card, so I'll lose it, because he'll definitely want the Evader Monarch.
Yes.
So, yeah, Vampire Hunter, that Gimmer stick play was certainly not something Dan or I necessarily saw coming, and just watching how effective it was, in part because Johnny's deck doesn't run guys that can stop it, was super interesting. Just seeing there's nothing he can do. That's just getting there. So Johnny gets the docking bay from reserve. He's got the flaps from hand, which is good. He's got to worry about the Monarch. Like, you can only do so much. There's the Snow Speeder just to, hey, I'm going to bump up my activation.
Yeah, he's got to get the activation going here. Probably going to see Luke move over. Thrawn's going to capture
for sure.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, this is I'm going to force you to have a Vader.
Yeah.
Early, or you're going to start bleeding. So,
But like you said, both players are going to lose to the Visage each turn unless Johnny does something about it. No
And
honor of
there's a
this,
second I have you now from hand.
and there goes our Rebel Barrier.
And I think if I'm Patrick, I'm perfectly content to just let Visage bleed us both
Yeah, no,
for
Patrick,
as long as possible.
being
Like,
that he's up by so much, like
yeah,
he can literally just do what he's doing. He's going to drain.
it,
He's going to cause the Visage damage. I don't think he cares
ooh, he gave up
about
a verified there as he searched for a document and missed. No,
like
Patrick's perfectly content just saying, hey, until you can do something, I'm just going to keep, I'll let us bleed both. Like, exactly
yeah,
what Johnny did last game where he spent 3 turns without activating because he's like, anger fear aggression's a thing and I need to not deal with this. Patrick's going to
yeah.
do the same thing here where he's going to like, look, I'll probably, I expect we'll see Vader come down with Thrawn to take Luke.
And that's like no Vader as we see him move.
Ooh,
And the fact that he just moves Thrawn over, so he's going to eat some damage to Johnny's objective. But I don't think he cares because he's up by
I think he's fine with that.
Johnny needs to win by 15 at this point.
And it might be he didn't have the right Vader. Like, Johnny's running Uncontrollable Fury. So you wait until you have Lord Vader instead of
Yeah, agreed.
Choke Vader.
There goes
Because you're not choking any of the snow speeders.
No, Force Lightning and the Emperor go lost.
And there's a Choke Vader off reserve.
Yeah, I mean, you do want to get any Vader because then you could just flip. You flip Johnny's Luke is captured. So
yeah, I mean, you want a Vader down early.
And I think right now Johnny is searching for his honor.
Honor or income?
No, he grabs Goonie Ta with the signal.
I don't hate that.
No, I don't hate that. Make Patrick use the force that he has,
yeah.
and he's only got 10. As we see, Johnny does activate, searches his
the Hoth docking bay so he can get income.
There's
there's Goo. I expect we'll see another snow speeder at the Hoth docking bay just to bump activation.
Yeah. Oh, Corrin Horde!
All right.
Yeah, that's one way of getting rid of the Visage.
That'll work. So, and with the Kunite,
I mean,
Patrick doesn't necessarily have a great way to answer Corrin.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, you don't want to answer too heavy there.
And the other thing is, like, Choke Vader is probably the best character against Corrin.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to choke Corrin out.
But at the same time, like, okay, there's Lord Vader. So, yeah, and that's what I was going to say was, do you want to go down against Corrin? Or do you want to make it so that you don't lose anything? And Lord Vader now captures Luke.
And Johnny did not barrier Vader. And I think that might have been, like, if I was Patrick, that might have been a concern is, do I drop Vader, take out Corrin, move them both to the med chamber to get Luke and cancel the...
Yeah, and I think that's why...
Luke, like... Because that drain of 2 in the med chamber is going to hurt.
Yes, I agree.
And...
Thrawn moves over.
Patrick is going to move. He moves Thrawn over. He does not move... Like, now that Visage is dead, there's no reason to move Vader out. And risk Johnny. I mean, Johnny's only got 4 cards in hand, but if it's 3 snow speeders and an incom, this is bad.
But at the same time, like, Patrick right now is not going to be doing any damage to Johnny. Johnny's going to want to drain. He's also going to want to draw some cards here.
Yep. And that's... But Johnny wasn't really threatening any damage anyways. I mean, if you move Vader to one of the 1/1 docking bays, you threaten a drain of 1.
Yeah.
But you risk Lord Vader getting jumped by, 4 snow speeders and just losing the game.
Yeah. And there goes the snow speeder down to the Hoth docking bay, and Johnny's going to draw
a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, The biggest thing that worries me right now is if Patrick has Mara Jade, things can get
Yeah,
ugly really quick.
he's got to have an answer for the barrier
Yeah.
because we know Johnny's got barrier. We know Patrick has barriers, or Johnny has barriers.
Johnny has barriers. There's an Emperor going
They both
down.
have barriers.
Yeah.
There's an Emperor going down there, and I'm good with that.
That boosts his activation a lot.
Yeah, that helps a ton on
I
his
mean,
activation.
it cost him 7, but and Jan is coming down as well.
That's good. And I think what we'll see here is probably Lord Vader go hang out with the old men. And probably Thrawn move in front of Corrin.
Just to bluff that range too.
Because Johnny's only got Leia. And he can't deploy Leia to battle, so are you going to play the move around game with Corrin? Or just deal?
Yeah.
Johnny's getting 13 force now, so he's got 14 to work with and 8 cards in hand. I don't think if he drops the flaps, we're going to see some action.
Well, he has the flaps on the table.
Yeah, but if he uses them.
Yeah.
If he doesn't use the flaps, I don't think we're going to see a lot of action this turn. It's really would be if he's got incom and a few snow speeders, I think you drop the flaps and you start going after him.
Yeah.
Oh, he does activate the flaps, so I think we're going to see a battle.
We might, yeah.
So
ASP
there's an ASP droid.
I mean, again, there's the Force Lightning.
Which is fine. If you want to Force Lightning and lose the Emperor's immunity...
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You're okay with that. No, I think you do, because you're fine with losing the Emperor. It's Vader you can't lose.
Yeah.
And the ASP was going to give...
-1 to each of your
Johnny
vehicles.
the cheap deploy.
Yeah.
But the ASP only costs 1. So, Johnny got his money's worth out
got
of it. He
value
paid
out of
1
him.
for the ASP, and he subtracted 1 from...
I mean, Johnny could simply just
Snowspeeder.
move the snow speeders together to the docking bay.
Yeah.
And, there's the incom.
Yep. And what else
That's
is he
right.
doing
Yeah,
here?
they can't move.
They can't use land speed. They can docking bay transit.
Yeah.
Docking bay transit is not using land speed. They are land speed 0. But they can docking bay transit.
And I don't mind this fight, because, I mean, Thrawn has no immunity. Cornhorn does have some immunity here, but...
Yeah, this fight was going to happen. It's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, from Johnny's perspective, it's start it now when it's just Thrawn versus Corrin, so you can't get overflowed.
Yeah.
Corrin did his job. Corrin canceled Visage. Now you let Corrin die, you kill Thrawn. Now, if Patrick has a way to go after him, you decline to draw here.
Yeah.
He did not, or he didn't want to. Sending
Patrick
a guy at
draws
Corrin
higher.
and trying to force out a Gick, or trying to force out the Hujiks and leave guys at a non-battleground you can't get to for a while seems real bad.
And the only thing that Patrick might have been a little scared of is if Johnny drew a super high destiny, but the fact that Patrick was able to draw the 5, Johnny drew the 3, there was no stack. So
Yeah.
And Johnny only moves 1 speeder over.
Well, so he's got 4 ability there. He's got 11 power. He's really just blocking that drain.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure he's sitting on a barrier, because that would really be if Patrick wanted to try and just end this, it's Mara to Hoth and battle the Snowspeeder, cancel incom.
Yep.
And then those 2 Snowspeeders at the docking bay are in bad shape.
A little bit.
But Mara's going to cost 7 to go to the Hoth docking bay.
I mean, he's got
If you
15.
eat a barrier, there's no... Yeah, but if you eat a barrier, then you don't have a second person to throw down. And
There's a Vader Monarch
instead,
lost.
here's the Vader Monarch. So control, Tatooine docking bay, it's a trap. Landing Claw, ASP Droid, Gunite, Leia, Rebel
And he
Snowspeeder,
hits
Angerford.
2 Rebel Snowspeeders.
And that's it, which really is pretty good for Jonny. And we see the It's a Trap.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a barrier, but he does have a way to stop the battle happening at Hoth, which is what he needed.
That's what Patrick wanted to see.
Yeah, Patrick needed to know, can you stop me from hitting you there? And he didn't have barrier, but he did have It's a Trap, so
yep,
he can.
And there's Mara Jade going down for 7.
I mean, you force him to play the It's a Trap. Like, and you know he can't really come back at you next turn.
Exactly. He's got no other Snowspeeders to go down with.
But he's got Leia.
He's got Leia, yeah, but...
So Leia's just going to blank Mara.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Because, yeah, Mara's an alien. So you drop Leia, you blank Mara, and then you can't follow up with another deploy there.
Funny
because your ability is 0.
I find it funny that Mara is an alien considering she's human.
Yeah, but there's lots of human aliens.
Yeah.
You know? So Han's an alien, Dash is an alien. So
Dash is a tortoise.
All right. So what is Patrick thinking about battling at the Death Star docking bay?
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know that I'd hate that play. Like,
I mean, the Emperor is immune to attrition. No, he wants to move Mara over.
And he's got to move Mara over because he
realized that Leia would blank Mara. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Leia blanks Mara, which is all right, now I get nothing out of this and have no way to get back in there, really. So.
Yep, there's the maneuvering flaps again.
Which is good, but like.
Where are they? I mean, it's not doing
where are you going with it?
Yeah. I mean.
So.
The thing about it is, though, like, I think you want to just to boost their power.
Oh yeah, power and forfeit. You're popping flaps.
Yeah.
Every time, and there's Leia to the docking bay. I think you're going to see him split out the Snowspeeders right now. Oh, all right. So he just backs them up and says, "Okay."
I mean.
And now he's drawing some. So
yeah, it's 17 to 19. He's going to have cards in his hand at this point.
Yeah, he may have another It's a Trap. The big question is, does Patrick have the no escape? Like, he'd really like to get that evader back.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to activate 1 right away, and Janice.
Right away, yeah. He probably is not tracking at this point.
I don't think he's tracking anything at this point. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vampire Hunter. Alien is just simply if you're not strongly Rebel or Imperial, you fall into Alien. That's a game mechanic instead of this makes sense.
Yep, and there's Vader's lightsaber as we see Patrick check out his deck.
Especially considering that there's so many systems, basically, depending on your viewpoint, everyone is an alien.
Oh, yeah, because they're not... I mean, they're aliens because they're not native to Earth. Technically, all of them are aliens. As we see Zuckuss go down, that's going to allow Patrick to, A, not pay for his drains, and B, get in some damage by draining up at Rendeling.
And that's a big one because the only space Jonny has, I think, is Gold Leader and Gold 1. With Core and Horn and Landing Claw. And you can't claw Zuckuss. I mean, yeah, and even Gold Leader and Gold 1 with Corrin's not good because you're still not drawing Battle Destiny.
And Core and Horn is in the lost pile, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Jonny might pull something out of his hat here and surprise us. But being that he has to win by 15. and he's only got. He's sitting at 32, so it's still relatively.
So he's
early.
he just moves away from that snow speeder stack. He says, "I'll
And
let
I
you
don't
drain
mind
for
that.
one, John."
Yes, this is the finals.
Yep, this is the finals. This is game 2 of the finals. Patrick won game 1 by 14 force in what was a super non-interactive but super strategic game.
Yeah,
Like it'll be on YouTube shortly, and if you didn't watch it, you should, because it was absolutely amazingly played by both players.
And Jonny will drain for one at the Death Star docking bay. We see Patrick will lose an Imperial Command from his hand.
Which makes sense because he's not going to be commanding at all.
No. And
you're not going to need it in space. He's probably Throne might be his only admiral. He might have Chernu, maybe.
Yeah, I think he does because I think he plays the Executor.
Yeah, I think he did. No, it was Pistone who had the Bespin. They must never again leave the city start. Right. He might not even have Executor in this deck.
Yeah.
So
we see him.
And we see him Janus. He's just trying to get cards going. Like right now, he's perfectly fine turning this into a we'll trade drains of 1 game.
Yeah. Well, no, it would be a drain of 3.
Well, Johnny's moving those snow speeders.
Oh, yeah.
Although Jonny, he did set the flaps.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Johnny's moving the snow speeders. It's basically going to be a drain of 1 at Rendley to a drain of 1 wherever Jonny moves his speeders.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Patrick wants to battle into the speeders.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if Patrick goes ahead and splits some of those characters soon.
And I expect he will at some point split a couple of the snow speeders off to start pinging some more drains. And Jonny deploys 1 rebel snow speeder. So an underrated part of why these snow speeder decks can be so scary, you can't barrier vehicles.
Yeah.
So Patrick really doesn't have a way to stop other than the Monarch that he's already played and lost. Johnny's saying, all right, well, here's 8 snow speeders, deal. Like there's no way Patrick can defend against that other than stacking the site and hoping.
Mm-hmm.
And really what he's trying to do is just stack long enough that he can push damage through, and without Visage, that's bad.
I don't remember
Jonny
if he's
playing Civil.
Okay.
I'm 95% sure. I believe we saw it come down in one of the earlier games. Because, again, he wants to put a pile of ability cards out on table. Like, get 9 or 10 snow speeders and
right now
make your opponent do something.
Yeah, right now both players are at 5 cards with ability.
Yep.
And the ASP droid is on a snow speeder.
On the snow speeder, so he can
protect
against a second.
He can actually use the card instead of
force lightning.
Yeah.
So. And Jonny just draws a couple. I wouldn't be shocked to see Jonny go above 12 here and say, I don't think you're running 2 Monarchs.
Yeah, and he does go to 13, but
yep.
Patrick's going to drain from 1, so you got to think Johnny's going to lose it from his hand.
Yep, and Patrick also already lost his Simalu.
Yeah.
Who would have been one of the things that would have given him some ability to really threaten on ground is adding that Battle Destiny. Like, without Simalu, right now, if you battle on ground, you're basically just each drawing 1 Destiny.
As we see,
and probably just each losing 1 card. Jonny
Patrick
loses Gunite from hand.
Yep.
So, because he does get the free drain. So,
Jonny,
and like it's even worse if you move back and battle at the Death Star, because then you just all the speeders drop for free, and then you just lose the ASP droid.
Yep, there's Admiral Chernu, which does tell me that he is playing some sort of Star Destroyer.
He might be. Like, it's very possible he's got like Chimera and or Executor.
Yeah.
So, and it makes sense that he lost the command, because I'm sure Chernu's probably the only other Admiral in his deck.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's running the Piet to get Mirror Jerk to get Bespin that
And Patrick
Michael Stone was running.
Draws a
which I don't hate.
4. No. I mean, he was up by 5. He draws a 4 for Destiny. Jonny draws a 3, so Shirnu will cover.
I was going to say, it's Admiral Forfeit Fodder. He's going away, and that was the entire plan from the get-go. And I think Johnny's just going to lose one Snowspeeder that forfeits for 6 because of the flaps.
No, I mean, but at the same time, like, you're whittling through Johnny's vehicle force.
I'm perfectly content with that battle. I think.
Oh no, Patrick, I agree 100%.
That was what Patrick needed to do. He's not losing force, and he's taking Snowspeeders off the table.
And we're probably going to see
valuable.
I think yep. Docking Bay transit to Cloud City. Yep, running away from those Snowspeeders.
Yeah,
I mean,
if Johnny wants to pay 6 to drain for 2.
Yeah,
Patrick will let him. Like, Johnny's activating a pile of force here, but kind of like what we talked about with Watch Your Step last game, like, he's activating a pile of force, but he doesn't have any individual cards that do a lot.
Yeah.
So he needs to do something with his... He needs a lot of cards.
Yeah, and
Johnny activates everything. So he's not battling, but he's going to be dropping something somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and we see Patrick searched with Crush and got nothing, which doesn't surprise me. The Monarchs lost along with 2 I Have You Nows.
Yeah, but I mean,
and I can't imagine he's playing more than one. And there's the Control Tunnel Vision from John.
Yep. Get out any card he wants out of his force pile.
Honestly, Civil Disorder might be the play here. Civil Disorder or like an Anger, Fear, Aggression, and then you just pile the Snowspeeders in front.
Yeah, he
and
needs
say,
to do
fine,
a
you
little
want
bit
to battle when I'm, 30 power?
Yeah, he needs to do a little bit of damage here, and the best way for him to do that is like Anger, Fear, Aggression, Civil Disorder, Order to Engage. One of those 3 cards that does the direct damage.
Yeah, and it might be 2 of those 3. Like,
yeah,
I would love to see, here's a few more speeders, here's Civil Disorder, here's Order to Engage, and I'm going to pile 30 plus power in front of you at Cloud City. Do you want to start a battle there and lose force and stack a card, or do you want to lose force and run away? Like, that's what Johnny's got to consider. However, something to keep in mind, Johnny's got 12 cards in hand. Yeah. He's only got 16 force down.
Yep, that's what I was about to say.
And he needs to win by 15. Like, Johnny really... If Johnny doesn't have the answers in his hand now, he doesn't have the answers.
Yeah.
He might have the answers to win the game, but he might not have the answers to win the match.
And that's match play for you.
So, and the fact that he's paying to drain, I don't love that.
And Patrick's sitting at, 15 in his hand right now? He's daring Johnny to have the Grimtosh, but I don't think he cares.
Yeah, Johnny's fine. Johnny doesn't care about Patrick having cards in hand.
Yeah.
Like, that's not that big a deal. And there went the Executor from hand. So, yeah, he was running. And you see that a lot with in this era and kind of time frame with mobilization points. You would run Executor and a system and pull whichever one was more important to the match as your first action. Like, hey, I really need to control, against like Watch Your Step. You're pulling Executor because Executor plus Thrawn is a good foil. Mm-hmm. Against something like this where you just need force. You're like, all right, well, I'll float the ship and pull Rendley.
Yeah.
And it's a well-designed card. Like, it gives you options as a player to say, what do we want to do here?
And Patrick realizing that Johnny has the Landing Claw still in his hand, you don't want to deploy the Executor no matter what.
And even without that, he lost Shirnu.
You lost
Johnny doesn't have an answer to Zuckuss in his deck, and we have been able to see basically all of Johnny's deck between the games, so there's no need to put anything down. So here's another Snowspeeder. So I'm a little intrigued that Johnny's putting them there instead of dropping them all at the Dust Star and then moving them. Because with no
Yeah,
reserve deck, I don't think he's starting a
yeah.
battle. So he could have saved himself some force doing it the other way. Now, right now, they each have 5 cards with ability on table. So if Johnny's going to want Civil Disorder hitting, he's going to need to play a couple more.
Yeah. The Bargwin.
There's the Bargwin.
Yep.
Start keeping it
Close.
interesting.
Yeah, it's going to keep it a little closer now.
That's actually big because now, Johnny's losing a drain of 1 that he can Baragwin back.
Yep, getting...
that's not a big deal.
And I was going to say, the other thing is, it is another card with ability, so he could have came down with Civil Disorder.
Yep.
But now Johnny's just going to move Docking Bay Transit.
He moves everyone and says, come at me.
Yeah.
And he pulls out the
droid
ASP droid.
Out.
It's fine. You're not going to get... He's not going to get Force Lightninged.
No, but he can get swung with the lightsaber.
Yeah. Nope, he put him in a different snow speeder.
He didn't like
Johnny
the one.
might
He
have
didn't like
thought
the one
that
ride
one through as well. It's like, I'll like this snow speeder. I'm gonna get in this other one.
Yeah.
Or is he gonna now move that other one away? That would not make any sense. Yeah,
So I think it's because the regular snow speeders have higher forfeit.
Yeah, the regular snow speeders forfeit for 6, where the 2-player snow speeders only forfeit for 4.
Yeah. With
flaps. So that way, if he needs to, he can just lose 1 snow speeder.
Exactly.
And that's smart play. It's these little things that separate Johnny from us mortals. And Patrick uses Twillick to go get Visage. That might have been what that Crush search was just to make sure, because Visage, he needs that.
And I was going to say, he's on the 7 side, so it's not going to hurt him when it comes down when he deploys it. So why not?
And Johnny needs an answer to it.
Yeah, and there goes another Ewok catapult.
And then the Baragwin, pay
As
2
we
to
see
retrieve
the Baragwin start doing Baragwin things. Gotta love it.
Also means Johnny now knows where a 7 is.
Yeah. I don't see Patrick battling in this game at this point.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any, but Johnny's also got a counter assault in the deck.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And if you know where a couple 7s are,
well, yeah,
and you're drawing 4 Destiny, that can get nasty.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And you got to think Patrick is wary of it. I mean, he hasn't missed a beat yet, so.
Patrick says, I will not deal with another Corrin, and he just throws Prince Shizor down there, which actually I really like.
I don't mind that. I mean, give yourself some protection. There's a reason why the hunt downs that we see nowadays, everybody drops Vanny down. And
Coward.
Coward.
That's really big to shut down the Baragwin.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really big.
That's mean.
That's Johnny's...
super mean.
Johnny's on the ropes here. Patrick has played this spectacularly well.
Yeah.
And I don't...
And you got to think like Johnny's going to have to move one of those snow speeders to the Endor docking bay.
And Johnny loses Landing Claw from hand, which I think is just going to be a... Well, he can't get it back with the Baragwin until he gets another Battleground.
Yeah.
And the Baragwin's just during control phase. So here comes the signal.
Go get the honor.
Nope, he may already have the honor.
Yeah.
There's the Civil Disorder, which I don't hate. You're at 6-6 right now in terms of cards. You need to put him on a clock, and now Johnny activates what would have been the 7, but he used the signal, so we don't know what that is.
Yeah, and I don't think that matters as much because, in all honesty, Johnny needs the Force at this point just so he can do stuff.
Yeah. I don't think Johnny's draining. Johnny needs some way to take care of honor, though. Like,
The
I
Visage,
actually, or Visage, yeah, he needs to get Honor. Because that Visage is going to start to burn
and you got to
real
think that
quick.
Patrick right now might be just waiting to deploy the no escape until one, either something that he really, really, really needs isn't on the top of his lost pile, or saving it for when Jonny throws out the honor.
Exactly. He didn't play it to get back the Monarch, which would have been this is super valuable and super important.
Mm-hmm.
So now if he's got it, he's just waiting till Jonny puts down Honor. I will say I don't necessarily love that play. Like
Holding
holding the no escape. Because if Jonny puts out Honor, he gets a turn of not losing to Visage.
Yeah.
If you just get no escape out and go, look, this is going to burn you all the time, I think that's worth it. Now, there hasn't necessarily been a ton of times where he would have put it down and the card he would get back is super important, but I think it still would have been important. And Jonny forgot about Coward.
Yeah. And
as he just tried to Baragwin. And
yeah.
That's Jonny is flustered.
A little bit.
He does
not make that mistake.
Yeah, you do not see Jonny make mistakes like that very often. Patrick has got to be feeling real good right now. Like, the game isn't sold. There's still a chance he can lose this.
Yeah.
But it's
closing pretty quick.
Yeah, Jonny's opening is getting real narrow.
Yeah. And I like that Jonny admitted that it was his mistake, even though that Patrick went ahead and said, you can revert.
Yep, and that's
one of the things that I like about the community. Like, we realize we're all good players. Like, everybody realizes you're humans, you make mistakes. Like, reverts are a thing, especially being played on GEMP. It's not playing in GEMP versus playing in person is 100% a different animal. So, yeah. And I like that Patrick offered it up. Jonny had said, no, it's my mistake. Let's move on.
Yep. And I think that was
both
classy plays, yeah, on both sides. These are classy guys, and and I appreciate Jonny saying, yeah, that was my mistake. This wasn't a unexpected thing. Like, you knew it was there. He just forgot about the card, and that
happens.
That happens. Like, you're not going to not make a mistake playing Star Wars cards. You're going to make mistakes every single game. Everybody is. Does your mistake give your opponent a chance to take advantage of it? And can you minimize the mistakes? And that's where Patrick's playing decks that have forced Jonny to have answers and put Jonny in a position where if you don't have the answer, you're going to have to make suboptimal plays. You're going to have to make mistakes, and then I can try and take advantage of them.
And like you said, I think this is the turn where Jonny is going to have to make some plays that he might regret because they're suboptimal. But it's almost to the point where Jonny needs to, because Patrick is just he's rolling. Like,
Patrick is controlling this game, even though he's really not. He's draining for one, and finally now he's visaging. And we see in chat Joe, who was the number one seed in this event, said he thinks if Patrick's got the no escape, he's holding it just in case Visage gets canceled again.
I can see that.
I can see.
Yeah,
like
that's a good point.
That's a strategic decision at that point. And
I have no problem with that decision.
Yeah, they're throwing it out now and forcing Jonny to do something and saying, all right, well, you're just going to lose honor isn't terrible. Holding it in case he does something isn't terrible either.
And there's a second corn horn.
I don't understand a single bit of that play.
I think he's going to move. He's going to have to move one of the snow speeders at least. But the Civil Disorder also makes it so that Patrick has to put down another character onto the field.
Yeah. I mean, I understand deploying Corrin. I just don't understand deploying him there.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, I mean, Patrick, they're both at 6.
Yeah, that's no. Johnny's at 7. 4 snow speeders, Leia, Aragorn, Corin.
Oh,
So
wow. Math is. Counting is not one of my strong points.
it's really early. I understand. So all Patrick needs to do is deploy 1 or 2 guys, or just
Kill
deploy
Corin.
1 guy and kill someone.
I mean, if he has a.
I don't think you kill Corin. Honestly, if you're going to kill anyone,
Go for Leia.
go after Leia. Although Leia doesn't do anything at that other than hold a battleground.
Yep.
Because you're on the 0, you're on the 7 side with Hunt Down. Leia can't drain,
Yeah.
and Leia can't battle.
Yep. She can be battled, but she can't initiate.
Yep.
And Jonny does lose the Tenowing docking bay from the top. Patrick will look throughout his deck. He saves 2.
2's an interesting choice because I don't think there's much of the way you can do other stuff. And he gets the drain of 3. That's big.
Yeah. Jonny didn't have the force.
Losing from hand. Yeah, he didn't have any force to do. And he might not have had the 7 in there because he activated, because he did the signal. Like, he might know he doesn't have the 7 there.
Yeah, there goes a beggar. Effective repairs, maneuvering flaps. Drains for 1 at Rendley. Loses anger, fear, aggression from his hand. And Jonny's at 18.
Yeah. Johnny's got 2 cards in hand and 16 force, and I don't see how he does enough damage
Oh.
in the hand.
Oh.
Patrick says, I see how I do enough damage. So, and there's Mara's Saber as well.
Yeah.
Patrick says, yep, we're just going to end this.
I mean, it's going to make him lose the 2 to Simple Disorder, but he doesn't
That's fine.
care.
You're fine with that. Now you're going to capture Corin.
As we see, Jonas and Lord Vader both go lost.
Again, that drain of 4 is going to start...
It's going to start eating.
Hitting John real hard. Because
Yeah.
Johnny can't really... He's going to lose another card to Visage here.
All he misses on the capture.
I think he verified his reserve, so he probably was like, well, I have a 50-50. Now, he might end up stacking a card for this. Yeah, he knew he had a 50-50 because the 4 would have hit Corin. But the 4 kills his attrition. So you know you kill Corin either way. It's...
And he does the stack.
He dodged the stack.
Oh.
That was...
Oh, that's painful.
Real big for Patrick.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 1 force wasn't... I mean, the 1 stack probably isn't that big a deal because you're not going to...
But getting...
You're not going to get more cards stacked at this point, I don't think. But he killed... He didn't kill Civil Disorder, but he made it so Johnny has to deploy a card.
And he's only got
Civil
2 cards in hand.
And he really only has 1 force left that he can lose to...
Yeah,
because he just lost off reserve. I don't think John wins this game.
I don't think so either.
I just can't... I don't think he can... I don't think he can get this.
Wow.
This is...
As he'll activate everything.
And John says, I'm going to go out and make it interesting. He's going to pay him drain.
Yep. There goes the Twilight Advisor from Patrick's hand.
And then if he's got a device in hand, I think you do the swap and...
Yeah.
I mean, but it's... He exchanges the out of commission in hand with...
To get the Ewok catapult.
I'm... Why he didn't use that to cancel Visage, I'm...
Befuddled?
That's a good word, yeah.
So the meta
I was going to say confused, but befuddled sounds a lot cooler.
Yeah. The meta has been a lot of Hunt Down, some Bring It Before Me. Watcher Step has probably been the most played light side.
I believe Watcher Step was about 50% of the meta.
However, so Jonny played, of course, this There's Good in Him speeder deck, and he played for Dark Side the Dark Surgeon, Agents of Black Sun deck. Patrick went with Hunt Down and a Throne Room Mains, Anger, Fear, Aggression, Beggar, just abusive card combo deck.
Yeah. And Jonny moves all the speeders.
I don't think it matters. Like,
I think you've gotta, because you can't eat that drain of 4.
yeah, he had to. Like, but I'm saying, like, Johnny's going to lose 2 cards. He's got 14 in his life force with 3 in hand. And he's going to take... He's going to lose the Visage Shear, drain from 1, and then another Visage damage on Patrick's turn.
Yeah, he loses the Catapult, but Patrick's going to drain before Jonny can win that back.
Yeah.
He's not? Isn't Peregrine only in control phase? Oh, control phase is exchange. It's retrieve anytime. Okay.
Okay.
I had those backwards. I thought it was retrieve.
So, I mean, he does, gets him a 7 back. He does know where it is at this point.
Yeah. And that drain of 1, though, is starting to, like...
I mean, he can still lose a card from his hand, because now he's sitting at 15. But he'll lose
or he can lose from reserve, like...
But
he doesn't win this if it goes to lost pile count.
No.
And honestly, like, I don't think he can get it to lost pile count.
I'll agree with you. That getting the Visage back.
I think Patrick deploys a guy right now to the Death Star Docking Bay, kills Civil, and I think you battle. Like, I don't see any reason not to. All you guys have some sort of immunity. Janice is less than 3.
Yeah.
It's like you probably... There's Chimera now that Landing Claw is dead. All right, so he's not going to battle. He's just going to stare at those snow speeders.
He gets rid of the Civil Disorder. That was one of the ways that Jonny had a chance.
And Jonny can't... Oh, okay.
Docking Bay Trains is free with at the Death Star.
Yeah, and again, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to risk staring at the snow speeders. He just says fine.
If Jonny loses from
deck.
That's it.
Johnny's
at 13.
At 13, and I mean, he can Bergwin to retrieve at some points,
but it's not going to push him. It's not going to be able to push him over.
Yeah, I don't think Jonny can get there. Yep, and Jonny just says, I can't do enough damage and concedes.
Well played,
Congratulations, Patrick.
Holy crap. That was a clinic.
That was amazing play by both players. I mean, Jonny deserves every accolade we've said over these games for him.
They both
And Patrick, who is not nearly as well known, but it has played very well in retro events and played quite well.
Yeah.
This was a clinic and an amazing set of deck choices. That light
the
side
deck choices and the deck construction
brutal.
Was insane. Like, he knew what he needed to play to get into the fun. Like, once he made the top 8, his deck choices were amazing.
Yeah. That was outstandingly played.
And how many people would say that they beat Johnny Chu?
Yeah, for a championship.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. And Benji and Apollo, if you're watching, I think Dad should take you guys out for ice cream right now. Just, he needs to drown his fears in some rocky road, or drown his sadness.
It's like 10 o'clock out there.
I'm aware of what time it is. It's 9:51 here, because he's in the same time zone as me. Dairy Queen's open.
I don't think it's ice cream time just yet.
Okay. You're not fat enough. Ice cream is always the right answer.
You know what? I'm going to say this. Like, I think everybody should get ice cream after watching that, just because the games were just that good.
I agree. They were outstandingly played. Jonny played amazing. Patrick played amazing and had outstanding decks to make this work. And I think Jonny kind of knew that. Like, Jonny, with watching this stuff, Jonny knew Patrick had to make a mistake for him to have a chance, and Patrick did not.
Yeah.
But like the fact that we went through 2 games and I don't think there's a single time I'm like, I don't like what Patrick did there. I don't think I ever said
that's
that.
impressive. That like you normally say that at least once in a match.
I don't like a lot of things. Like I say that a lot of the time, and
you are the biggest. Like you are the biggest curmudgeon when it comes to anything.
I really and befuddled and curmudgeon. Did you get a word of the day calendar or something? You're just busting out the like.
This is what happens when I have a little bit of coffee in me. That's why I don't. I'm not normally this.
This is an early morning stream. Usually we're streaming at night, and it's been a long day of dealing with stuff. So I'm impressed. Those are.
As for the meta, like this is the first time that this meta has actually been possible because the format. This format has not really been.
This format never existed in tournament play at the time because when the episode 1 cards came out. The closest to this meta would have been the Decipher cards only, the Reflections 3 meta, but you're losing a lot of the episode 1 cards with and a lot of impactful episode 1 cards, like a Jedi's Resilience wasn't in play. Don't do that again.
Lando Calrissian Scoundrel, Blizzard 4, Shields. Like
there was a lot of stuff that wasn't in play, and even things like Maul with lightsaber, Qui-Gon with lightsaber, like all of these cards that definitely define the meta at times in the era a lot of these were out. Just
there was
aren't legal, so
no pod racing, no Senate, like all the abusive stuff that came out with the episode 1 stuff, all the stuff that actually like mitigated a lot of this cheese, like the fact that you could still play and use to the full extent Anger, Fear, Aggression, Still the Disorder, those cards impacted this match.
Jonny had 37-20-1 in his deck because you're just like, all right, I'll throw down,
I mean, when you have a Destiny 6 Emperor Palpatine on the table, why not?
Yeah. When your first turn is often, here's a Palpatine, here's a Vigo, here's an insert, get ready to take 10. That's solid
annoying.
Play.
That's annoying.
So, no, this was awesome. This was spectacularly played by both players.
It was great. It was different. It was nice to see a format like this created, and big props to Jared and everybody who worked to get this going. Big props to everybody who did participate in it. And again, this was a charity event that went to a really good cause. I know that Keith is going to write up a post-tournament report on all the happenings. I don't know the exact number of what was raised for the charity that we gave to, but definitely anybody who did participate, anybody who donated and didn't participate, big props. Thank you guys for doing this. I mean,
and again, like you just said, the PC, they've done this charity event every year, and it's awesome to do it. It's so much fun to play these different formats and try out new things. Like it's harder to come up with these players all had to build new decks. This wasn't I remember this being good in this era.
Yeah.
And then trying to tweak for more current changes. This was an entirely new, undeveloped meta, and congratulations to Patrick in playing spectacularly in kind of solving it. Like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
So this was awesome. Thank you all for watching.
Yes, it has been a huge pleasure for both of us to do this. But until next time, again, in August we have the North American Continentals, August 9th through the 11th, I believe. And then Worlds out in Germany. Those are the 2 next really big events. Again, the July OCS is still going on. Make sure you guys get your games out there. I got
to get some of those.
Yeah, same. I don't think I have any. But
and Vampire Hunter, there's not a next match.
No, that was it.
The championship.
This is the finals. This is 100%
Congratulations
to
Patrick Lima taking the championship.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the next time we'll stream is. We'll probably We'll figure out some time.
Yeah.
Streaming games is fun. Letting people watch is fun. So
that's
we'll get
we
some more
got.
stuff out.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Be safe out there. And as always, may the force be with you.
For sure.
Take care. Yeah, I need to go. I'm going to lay back down for a second or two, but because